Hello, dear students. As we are dealing with the chapter The Third Level by Jack Finney, this is a science fiction. Here, the protagonist of the story, Charlie, thinks that there are three levels at the Grand Central Station, while in reality there are only two levels. He talks about this thing with his psychiatrist friend, and when his friend heard these things, he replies to him that this is only a hallucination of his mind. In reality, there are no three levels at the Grand Central Station. And he also says that as the narrator Charlie, he wants to escape from the reality of the world. That's why he creates an imaginary world for himself in his mind, which is the third level. But children, we came to know about Charlie and his third level in the previous class, that he has found the third level and he has reached there. On reaching there, he finds the things around him strange, and he also finds a newspaper where the date was written and the year also mentioned, and the year was 1894. Okay, so he was confirmed that he had reached in the world of 19th century. Okay, now when he reached there, he saw the clerk at the ticket counter, and he went there in order to buy two tickets for himself to go to Galesburg. Okay, so let us continue the story. The clerk figured the money. Figured means he calculated the money, the fare to Galesburg from the third level. Okay. He glanced at my fancy headband. At the same time, the clerk looked at the uh, narrator's headband because he had worn a hat which has a fancy band. But he figured the fare. But he figured the fare. He calculated the fare, and I had enough for two coach tickets one way. When Charlie got to know the fare, he said that he had enough money to buy two coach tickets, but only for one way. But when I counted out the money and looked up, the clerk was staring at me. And when Charlie counted the money which he had, he looked up. In between that time, the clerk was staring at him. Staring means gazing, looking fixedly. He nodded at the bills, and looking the bills means the dollars which Charlie had. He nodded. He shook his head and said, "That ain't money, mister," means that is not money, mister. He said, "And if you are trying to skin me, you won't get very far." And here, to skin somebody means it is a phrase, it means to irritate somebody. So the clerk said that if Charlie was trying to skin him, he will be arrested. Here, you won't get very far means you will not run away from here and you will soon get arrested. And he glanced at the cash drawer beside him. At the same time, the clerk looked at the drawer, and it means he was pointing towards the drawer where he had kept the money in order to show the money to the narrator, who is Charlie. Of course, the money was old style bills. Here, Charlie tells us that, of course, indeed, the money was of old style money. Half again as big as the money we use nowadays. It was just half of the money that we use nowadays, and different looking, and the money was looking different. I turned away and go out fast. Then, on hearing these things from the clerk, Charlie turned away from the place and came out fast. There is nothing nice about jail even in 1894, and Charlie thought to himself that even the jail in 1894 are not nice. Means he means to say if he would be arrested, it will not good for him, as jail is jail, be it of 1894 or 9th of 20th century. Okay, and that was that, and that was all about that day. I left the same way I came, means he just came back from the same way as he had taken to go to the third level. I suppose means I think. Next day during lunch hour, I drew $300 out of the bank. Next day, Charlie went to the bank and he took out $300 from the bank. Nearly all we had means nearly all the money he had, and bought old style currency. And he bought some old style currency with that money. That really worried my psychiatrist friend. Here he says that, and when his friend heard these things, he was worried. You can buy old money at almost any coin dealers, but you have to pay a premium. Here Charlie tells us that it is easy to buy old coins, but for that you need to pay premium. My $300 bought less than 200 in old style bills. That's why he got only 200 old style bills, means rupees, notes, money for $300. But I didn't care. But Charlie didn't care about that loss because he thinks eggs were 13 cents a dozen in 1894, because eggs are very cheap in the year 1894, and he is going to the third level in that era. Okay. But I have never again found the corridor that leads to the third level at the Grand Central Station. Here, Charlie tells us that, but from then onwards, he didn't find the corridor, the passage which leads to the third level. Although I have tried often enough. Although Charlie tried to find that way, but he didn't. Louisa was pretty worried. Here he tells us that his wife Louisa was much worried about it when Charlie told her all these things and didn't want me to look for the third level anymore. So his wife denied him to look for the third level any longer. And after a while, I stopped. So after some time, Charlie stopped looking for the third level. I went back to my stamps. Here he means to say that he started working on his old habit of collecting the stamps. But now we were both looking every weekend. Here we were both means he and his wife. They both were looking for the third level every weekend, means every Sunday and Saturday. Because now we have proof that the third level is still there. Here Charlie tells us that they had now proof that there is third level. That's why he and his wife usually on every weekend they tried to find out the third level. My friend Sam Wiener disappeared. Now here one more thing that Charlie tells us that his friend Sam Wiener. And who is Sam Wiener? Sam Wiener is the same psychiatrist. Okay. Nobody knew where, but nobody knew where he had gone. But I sort of suspected because Sam's a city boy. Here Charlie tells us that, but he suspected, he was doubtful about Sam because Sam belongs to a city, and I used to tell him about Galesburg. Children, here Galesburg is a town and village area, and here Charlie says that he used to tell his psychiatrist friend about the Galesburg, and he told him that he went to school there and he always said he liked the sound of the place. Whenever Charlie told him that he went to school in that place, uh, his friend Sam Wiener, who is a psychiatrist, he took interest in that and wanted to go to that place. Okay, and that's where he is. Here Charlie tells us that, and he thinks that his friend who has disappeared had gone to Galesburg. Okay, all right, in 1894. And in which year? In 1894, because the third level means the past. Okay, because one night he further said that one night he was fussing with his stamp collection. Fussing means you're working with that, paying attention to his stamp collection, and he found, well, do you know what a first day cover is? He found that first day cover and asked, here Charlie is asking the question to the reader, do you know what a first day cover is? When a new stamp is issued, stamp collectors buy some and use them to mail envelopes to themselves on the very first day of sale. The stamp collectors buy the stamps and just post them to their own address. Okay, because this proves the date of the issuing date of the stamp. The envelope is called a first day cover. That's why that cover of the envelope, that is known as first day cover, because that cover has the new stamps. They are never opened. While the envelope are never opened, you just put blank paper in the envelope, because inside the envelope there is only a blank paper, because they are posted by the stamp collector themselves. Okay. So children, that's all for today's class. Rest of the things we will discuss in next class. Till then, thank you.